Good morning and welcome to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm your host, Jill Malandrino, global markets reporter at Nasdaq. Joining me at the MarketSite in Times Square, we have Sylvia Jablonski with the Capital Markets Group over at Direxion, and we have a holiday 2018 spend update for you as well as her 2019 macro outlook. Sylvia, it's great to have you back with me at MarketSite. Now, markets have been a little volatile, but the consumer seems to be spending for holiday 2018.
The consumer is spending, so consumer wages are at an all-time high. We have 3.1%. Unemployment is at an all-time low. We have strong consumer sentiment, strong business sentiment, and retail earnings were actually, pretty good. They definitely deviated between brick and mortar and online, but we did see a healthy consumer actually spending this season.
All right, now in terms of Direxion ETFs to watch, again, they're levered ETFs.
Yes.
How could investors use that in their portfolio, whether they're hedging or speculating for the retail season?
Sure. So there have been a lot of really great short-term opportunities right now, especially with what's been going on in the market and the short-term turnovers in both bull and bear markets. So, the one thing that investors can do now is look for sectors that are bound to take off. So things like inverse treasury ETFs. There's an ETF called TMV. It's got a negative 51 duration. So as the Fed hikes rates, bond prices fall and that ETF will rise. So investors looking to either hedge or benefit from bond prices falling can take a position in that ETF. There's some other areas of the market too that I think will do well. We just talked about retail into year end. I do think it'll be a strong Santa Claus rally. We have a little bit of volatility now with trade wars and tariffs and things like that. But I do think that retail looks strong going into year end, at least for the next couple of weeks. And then I think things off of retail like transports, FedEx, UPS, the companies that are going to deliver some of these retail online purchases to consumers will be interesting areas to look at.
All right, let's look about 2019 volatility factors. Volatility is great for Direxion, great for the exchanges. It's volume, it's volatility. Yes. What are some of the events that you're going to have on the radar?
So 2019 will be interesting. I think, we need some peace and certainty in the market. So last Friday we saw a massive rally because it seemed like China and the US had come to some sort of conclusion. President Xi and President Trump were, or at least President Trump was bullish on some sort of negotiation going through. Then yesterday some of that pulled back because it seemed as though, well, maybe a deal wasn't struck. It just sort of seems like we put this off until the end of April.
Right.
So I think stability in trade and tariffs, and I think a more muted Fed in terms of rate hikes into next year will keep us going for the first couple of months in terms of opportunities and risk on appetite. I do think that consumers will start to allocate towards defensive and consumer staple types of sectors. I think healthcare will be interesting. Cure is one of our best performing ETFs year to date because it's defensive, like, people get sick. You've had M&A activity there. You have a lot of retail pharmacies merging with, pill pack and that kind of thing. So I think that, that's an interesting sector to look at, and also emerging markets, which have been sort of grossly undervalued for the last couple of years.
And to wrap up here with Direxion ETFs, since they are levered, they can also be used as a form of portfolio protection as well if you're heavy in equities, heavy within a sector.
Yes, exactly. So inverse funds, you have negative 3x funds. So for sophisticated tactical traders, for example, the next couple of days, if you expect pullback in tech, you can use something like a TECS, a short-term bear fund. But over the longer term, we have an ETF called SPDN. It's just a -1 S&P 500 ETF. Investors looking to protect their portfolios into year end, or just take a bearish view on a particular sector or market, can use those ETFs in their portfolio.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us.
We
look forward to seeing you in 2019.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining me. I'm Jill Malandrino, global markets reporter at Nasdaq.